Hey everybody, Joe Vanourney, Cherry the Geek TV. We are here at San Diego Comic-Con 2024 talking about Defiant, the Robert Small story, and we're here with Marvin Jones III. Good to see you again. We spoke a year ago, and the graphic novel had just launched on Kickstarter. I think we were about a week into the campaign. It blew the expectations away, surpassed the goal immediately, and then some. What's this past year, the journey been?
Man, it's been a dream, man. It's been really phenomenal. The team that we put together with Legion M, Stranger Comics, Rob Edwards, myself, Sebastian Jones at Stranger Comics, and of course, our fans and Kickstarter. Has really been an incredible and fulfilling journey. Now we're here back, right, the very next year, and we not only have the comic. Our first issue done with special covers and iterations of that story, as well as we're in development now for the actual film. So next year our goal is to be here, talking about release date, you know what I'm saying, or just an update on where we are in the development of the film. We got an A-list director, A-list black director coming on the film, and it's super exciting, man. Very happy with what Sebastian Jones and Stranger Comics was able to do on the illustration side, layout, and publishing side. It came out, I don't like to say this, not that I had any discrepancy in any way, because I didn't, but it's always beautiful when something, you have it in your mind and in your head, and it comes out better than what you expected, and that's what we're dealing with Defiant right now, man. It's really good.
So, for those that maybe aren't familiar, there's probably some new people watching this that didn't see the interviews from last year. Let's refresh everybody's memory. Who is Robert Smalls, and why is his story worth telling?
Well, Robert Smalls is a true superhero, a true American superhero in real time. He was born a slave, lived as a slave, and in the time of the Civil War on a Confederate slave ship, which he worked, he decided to hijack the ship and take it over. And it just happened to be a ship that had the biggest bounty in American history on it from the Confederate side. And in order to liberate himself and 9 other families that worked on the ship with him, or 9 other families that were enslaved that he took along for the ride, he hijacked that ship and surrendered it to the Union Army. In surrendering it to the Union Army, he instantly became uber rich, and became one of the richest black men in America, or in the world, and went on to do incredible things. One being the first black man elected to Congress via Abe Lincoln, instrumental in convincing the Union Army and Abraham Lincoln to allow black people to fight in the Civil War on the Union side. Was responsible for, creating the curriculum, and not just the curriculum, but the foundation of how public schools should work. Started a railroad to disseminate information from one side to the other, and product and everything. Of newspaper. Bought his slave master's house, took care of the slave master's wife until she passed. The list of this guy can go on and on. I think me and Rob Edwards, who's the writer on Defiant, we talk about it all the time. I think the biggest feat that he accomplished was dying of old age, not getting assassinated or anything like that, right? Yeah. So he's a true American superhero that has a history unlike any other that we don't know about, that hasn't been told. And us at Defiant, and along with Legion M, along with Stranger Comics, it's become our mission to tell this story and to rewrite history. First via the comic and graphic novel series, and then through a big budget film that we're in development right now with a super A-list black director that we can't announce just yet. But the story is the goal is to go from graphic animated story on with the novel and the comic into major IMAX level film for it.
Awesome. I want to talk about the artwork in the comic for a bit, because I got the first issue. I opened it up.
Did you?
The first image you see, like, as you're flipping through pages, I'm like gasping at how beautiful that artwork is. What was your reaction the first time that you saw that?
Way, man. Again, shout out to Ray Anthony Height, who did the cover, and then the different artists at Stranger Comics, under Sebastian Jones, put together a beautiful piece of art Beautiful storytelling in that way. I was blown away, brother. I'm still blown away. And then I don't know if you saw, we have here at Comic-Con this year a limited edition cover that's just
Silver
so
one.
good, man. It's so
I have
good.
it. It's over. It's sitting right over there.
You got one on it? Yeah, it's so good. Not to give a lot of it away, but it's the thing about that new cover that I love so much is it kind of relates. It gives you a relation and a linear understanding of who Robert Smalls would be in real time, and he would be, I don't know, how much people know about one of the greatest, rest in peace to Richard Roundtree, but Shaft, who he was to black people, what he was in the community at that time. So it's a kind of a play on that, and it's just remarkable, man. So I was blown away by the art. To answer your question, brother, I was really, really blown. Like, I'm still blown away by it.
What have you been hearing as far as feedback from the Kickstarter backers, from people that are reading?
Man, it's one of those things. Like even them, some of the feedback that I've been reading and even receiving is that it came out better than people expected it to. And not that, like I say, anybody had any low expectation, but it's always good to exceed expectation. Right?
It did, and that was my reaction. Yeah, I was like, let's see what we got, and I was like, oh my goodness, it's like exceeded. You're right, it exceeds expectation.
It exceeds expectation, and we want the film to exceed expectation as well. Like, this is not going to be, no knock to anybody's. I won't even get into that. My barometer and bar of what I believe is good and bad in film and television, because I'm an actor in that space, so keep it PC. But this movie is going to exceed expectation. It's gonna, it really, really is. Like, we're talking IMAX level.
I'm also curious. Have you noticed, just outside of the graphic novel, have you noticed that people? Because I have noticed that people are talking about Robert Smalls, and then I'll ask them, well, have you heard about this graphic novel? And they're like, no. And I'm like, well, somehow, maybe it's the people that are buying the graphic novel are promoting it, and they're telling the story, and it's getting into people's ears. Like, they're learning about him, and I'm seeing like posts on Facebook about
and the memes and all the videos. No, it's funny because we started this process 4 years ago, and initially graphic novel wasn't even in the play, but so it came to us that because we keep calling him an American superhero, that this has to be presented that way, hence the comic book, graphic novel in that space. But then also, I think with the power of social media and word of mouth, which is the biggest form of promotion, right? I've seen over the last 4 years it become a thing, because it's one of those undeniable stories that, one, you feel kind of like on another planet if you've never heard of him, or from under a rock, like, who is this guy? What, he did all of this? And then now with our efforts of really telling the story in a right way, it becomes that conversation piece. So we're seeing the memes, the posts.
I see a lot of posts that start with, how come nobody's heard about this guy? And it's like, just wait. So it's just wait. It's coming.
Yeah, but this is becoming like that one. It really is, because it really ties into, if you think about it, his political career, in Congress, you think it's like, okay, well, who was the first black man elected to Congress? Oh, it was Robert Smalls. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of a thing now. Everybody, there's so many politicians that are African American that are successful. We have one running for president right now. But in that time, he's the first. And we talk about public schools. You talk about, and then his resolve to okay, I'm going to declare, not just independence for black people, but I'm going to declare my own independence, and I'm going to go and do what I have to do to get it. And once I get it, I'm going to do the right things with it. And I think that's just something that, no matter where you're from, what your background is, what ethnicity, black or white or whatever, right? You can get something from that. There's something about, taking, what you were dealt and creating your own destiny out of it, right? And being impactful. I think we all can learn from it. That's why I want to say he's an American superhero.
Well, if you want to learn more about this American superhero, look for the book. It's called Defiant, The Story of Robert Smalls. Mm-hmm. This is Marvin Jones III. Check out Cherry the Geek TV for more coverage here at San Diego Comic-Con 2024.